Welcome back, Ascenders, to the Ascended Thoughts Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Crane. So listen, you have to start working on how you actually see things, how you actually view your reality and you view your experience in it, and have the wisdom to discern your spiritual experiences. You are at a place where you recognize that you are a spiritual being. If you weren't, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be listening to this. This wouldn't have even popped up on your feed because it would not have satisfied your algorithm, right? So you understand that you are a spiritual being, which means it's now time for you to exercise spiritual discernment and actually vet what it is that you're seeing, what it is that you're perceiving, and the experiences that you think that you are having, because how you frame the experience in your mind is going to be how you experience it, regardless of what's actually happening. Because remember, what you're experiencing in a 3D is a product of the 3D. It's a product of the 3D experience, but it is not actually you. It's just a product of the experience itself, right? So if you are witnessing something that maybe feels a little bit unpleasant, you need to be able to discern that what you are witnessing is just a product of the experience, and know that it is not your job to internalize it. You do not have to absorb what's happening. You just need to observe it. And through the observation of it, the information that you were supposed to have or the lesson that you were supposed to learn will be gained. You don't necessarily have to wrap yourself up in it. But this is also the flip side, recognizing positivity when positivity actually exists. So often people can't actually see positive things and positive things are happening. I'm not entirely sure why that is. I don't know if people think that one day they're going to walk outside and then there's just going to be like all these beautiful balloons are just going to drop outside, or that there's going to be this spotlight shining on them everywhere they glow, or every time they fart glitter is going to fly out their ass. I'm not really sure what marker of success people are looking for when they are thinking about positivity, but positivity is internal, just like peace is internal. It is up to you to frame and decide that something is positive. And unfortunately, the way we are taught in society is that we will frame more things as negative than more things as positive, right? If you frame things as positive, things start to feel positive. You start to attract positive experiences. You start to experience more positivity. But it is up to you in order to frame it that way, in order to see positivity in situations, right? So, for example, let's say you lose a job. Many people will look at that and frame it in a negative. Oh, well, what am I going to do? I've lost this job. I'm a failure. Did I fuck up? I can't believe this happened to me, right? Instead of going, oh, great, I'm free. Oh, great, I don't have to be around those people that drain me of my energy. This is fucking fantastic. My boss was a dick. I don't ever have to see that person ever again. Oh, thank God, I got my free time back. I don't have to be around those people that suck. Like, there's another way that you can view that kind of situation. Oh, this gives me an opportunity to pursue things that I actually really want to experience. And oh, this gives me an opportunity to actually really pursue my career in the way that I originally anticipated, and actually go find opportunities that allow for forward advancement, because the job that I was in was a dead-end job. And oh, I can go here and learn new skills in order to get me there where I can make more money. How exciting. People don't look at things like that. People go, oh, I failed. And then that is what clouds and shapes their entire experience. You are in control. Remember, you are the spirit. You are the universe. This is your creation. So create it in a better way. Create it in a way that's more fun to experience, that's more satisfying to experience. You don't have to create and then perpetuate misery. You can go in the opposite direction. And this is going to really influence what you see in the world. But in order to influence what you see in the world, you must first shape what you allow yourself to see. When you encounter things that may feel negative, you can say, actually, I'm choosing not to see this. I'm choosing to see the good. I'm choosing to see how this will benefit me, because all things benefit me. When you are working on manifesting things, you can choose to see how it's manifesting in real time. You can choose to see it manifesting quickly, because you are a fast manifester. Everybody is a fast manifester. The issue is that they don't actually see the manifestation even when it's manifesting in front of them. And so they assume that it's not happening, and then they assume that, well, they're not a good manifester. And then what ends up happening is that they then perpetuate this cycle of not being good at it, or perpetuating a cycle that maybe things don't happen for them, things aren't meant for them, that it doesn't matter how hard they ask for something and pray for something, or how many affirmations that they say, that it's actually not going to work out for them. Not realizing that actually it did start working out for you. You just missed it. You just didn't have an ability to see it. And the way you start to see it is you have to train yourself. I like to say, seek to see. You have to seek to see something, right? Like, this is a lot of the times when people are trying to develop their psychic ability and they're like, well, how do I do that? Seek to see. Look to see things that other people miss. So when it comes to you and your manifestations, look to see things that most people will miss. Because here is the thing, the majority of people are going to miss it. The majority of people are sleeping, and the people that are not sleeping, there's still a large batch of them that feel like they benefit more from being a martyr than they benefit from being a hero in their own story. And some people will hear that and be like, well, actually, I feel like that's really unfair. No. A lot of people like to be the martyr. A lot of people like to be the person that everything is always wrong with them all of the time. And the reason why they like that is because it is their way of getting sympathy from people. It is their way of getting attention from people. And it is their way from getting validation from people. Not everybody actually wants to be empowered, because when they're not, then they can drain other people of their time and their energy, and they like it that way, right? But I'm asking you to be empowered. If you've ended up here, then obviously we resonate with each other, and I don't actually like the latter, okay? So I would prefer for you, or like the former, I would prefer for you in order to choose empowerment. Choose to see things that other people miss, because that's where all the opportunity is. And you would be amazed at how many things are actually sitting in that window, because the majority of people miss it. The majority of people miss opportunity. The majority of people will miss their big break. You have people sitting here waiting and hoping that somebody else is going to give them a big break in life. No, breaks are created by yourself. And the majority of people miss their opportunities for big breaks because when it comes in front of them, they miss it. They don't see it. Or this can possibly be for me, or I don't think I can do it, or I don't have the skill set, or I don't have the talent. They had this thing that they wanted, they manifested it because they are spirit and their law, and then suddenly they got scared and they were like, oh no. And so there's all of these missed opportunities that are sitting in that window. There are all these missed opportunities that are sitting in that place that you should seek to see, because most people will miss it, the miss it place. So many things are sitting there. There are opportunities for you. There are opportunities that were originally meant for somebody else, but then that person punked out, and so it's just sitting there waiting to be claimed by people. But you just have to see it, and you just have to allow yourself to then go take it, because here is the next step. A lot of people will see things and they go, oh, actually, I think there's an opportunity right there. But then they get scared that they don't pick it up. They don't take it. They don't seize it. People ask for opportunities all the time, but how many people do you know are actually people that then go and seize the opportunity? There's not a whole lot of people that will actually do that, right? So that's the next step. First, you got to see it. You have to be able to recognize it. You have to be able to identify it, and you do that by looking for things that people will miss. Right? So it can be as simple as like when people are looking for like new ideas, it could be like creative ideas, content ideas, it could be business ideas, right? And people always say to you, well, find the solution. Find a solution to somebody's problem. What they're really saying is see something that other people will miss. That's really what they're saying. See something that other people will miss. And actually, people find all kinds of solutions to problems. There are so many of you listening that are like MacGyvers. You have a way of MacGyvering fucking kitchen knives and shit together in order to make new kitchen appliances and things work. You know what I mean? You are someone that can be put in a wood shop somewhere, and next thing you know, you've just made furniture. You've made a dresser, drawers, you made a matching bed set, right? You have an ability to look at something and see something in it. You can look at a block of wood. You can look at some oak from a tree and then see an end table. I can't do that. I can't look at wood and then perceive an end table. But there are people that can do that. There's opportunity in that, right? But then you have to figure out, well, what are you going to do with the opportunity? Some people may take the opportunity and go sell it on Facebook Marketplace, which is a great outlet, right? Some people will take that block of wood and then the end table and then turn it into some massive furniture company, and the next thing you know, you've got IKEA. That came from somebody that saw an opportunity and sees it. Like, could you imagine the thought that that person had when they're like, I'm gonna tell you what we're gonna do. We are gonna be a furniture company, but we're gonna make everybody else build it. So we're gonna give them wood, but they have to build it, and they're going to pay us. They're going to pay us for that. We're going to give them wood, the shittiest fucking instructions that we can actually come up with. We don't even really need a team to actually write instructions. The instructions are going to be so bad. But let me tell you something, people are going to buy it. We are going to put them in a warehouse. We're going to make the warehouse like a maze, and anything they want, anytime they need help, they got to help themselves. And then we're going to give them frozen meatballs, and they're going to fucking love it. And then they're going to pay us for it. And guess what? We fucking love it. And we be paying them for it. And do you think that people thought that was a good idea when someone initially said it? You think people were on board with that? No, they weren't. But they saw something that other people did not see. They saw something that people missed. You think Jeff Bezos, actually, it's not even a think. I've actually said this many times. People thought that man was a quack when he first talked about Amazon and he was working out of his garage and he was selling books on the internet. First of all, people thought he was weird because why would you want to have an internet? Why would you sell books on the internet? There are bookstores and there are libraries. Who would ever want to buy a book on the internet? People thought he was stupid. There is footage of this man going on a Tonight Show being so excited to talk about Amazon and how he felt like it was so revolutionary, and the damn night show host laughed in his face on fucking television like that's a dumb idea. Jeff Bezos. But he saw something that other people did not see, and he then didn't allow that to make him insecure about what he had the ability to see. So many of you have an ability to see something, and then somebody else can't see it, and then when that person shares their doubt or their insecurity, suddenly you are now doubting and feeling insecure about what you could see. Now you think you're crazy. Now you think, well, maybe you're right. It's not going to actually work. No, it's just that you saw something that they did not see. And guess what? They were not supposed to see it. And they were not supposed to see it because they didn't have the skill, the talent, or the balls in order to bring it into fruition. Because sometimes people are very talented, but they lack kahunas. They lack a set of balls. They don't have any testes. Okay? And sometimes you need a good set of testicles in order to get you to where you're going. And maybe they don't have that. And so it's not for them to see. But when you see something, you got to stand on it. Or as the kids these days call it, standing on business. You got to stand on it. And then not only do you see it, because that's just the first step. Are you actually going to seize the opportunity and take it as big as it can go? Because one thing about life is that the only objective for any of us, people say, well, what's the purpose of life? What is the purpose of life? What's the purpose of my life? I'm going to tell you the purpose of life. It's going to be real simple. And that journey that you've been on your whole life trying to figure out your purpose, I'm about to simplify it right now because everybody has the same purpose, right? Are you ready? Your purpose in life is just to live your greatest expression. That's it. And it's within your greatest expression that you experience the joy and the love and the satisfaction and the happiness and the inspiration and the wonder and the awe. It is just to experience your greatest expression. And so your greatest expression will take you however far you can dream. Your greatest expression will be however big that you can big. Shit. If as big as you can go is selling the end table that you made, that you've created, that you've crafted out of fucking thin air on Facebook Marketplace, then shit, it'll take you there. But if your greatest expression can take you to fucking IKEA, it'll take you there too. But your greatest expression is only as great as you can dream. It's only as big as your dreams can go. If you stop how far you dream, then that is where your greatest expression will stop. And you'll always know if you stop too soon. This is how you'll know if you stop too soon and if you're still in your greatest expression. You'll know if you feel fulfillment or not. So let's say you are actively doing your craft. Maybe you found your passion, like, right? Let's say you found your passion. You are actively participating in your passion. But there's still a piece of you that feels unfulfilled or not satisfied. And you're like, I'm not actually sure why this is the case. Like, I feel like I'm doing what I love, but there's just something in me that feels a little bit empty, right? If you feel that, that means you're actually not in your great expression. You didn't take it as big as it can go. You will know if you have reached your greatest expression if you feel satisfaction. If you don't feel satisfaction yet, then that means it didn't take you as far as you can go. Now, what you want to be feeling during the process as you are going as far as you can go is excitement and awe. You want to feel excited about how far and how big it can get, how far it can go and how big it can get. So you should feel excited during the actual process. But if you reach a point where you can recognize that you are living in your passion, but you don't feel excited or satisfied, that means you didn't go far enough. That means your expression isn't being experienced in as big of a way as it's initially supposed to be experienced. Remember, you are the universe. Remember, you are the thing that has created all things, right? Big and being big are natural. Big and being big will be a natural form of your greatest expression, right? Like, your greatest expression can be living on a homestead, but that homestead can be like the craziest like acreage of land. It can be big as fuck, right? It can be a community. It can be a whole full-blown nonprofit. Hell, maybe it's a corporation. Shit. It's up to you and how you feel like you're supposed to be living it in yourself, but you are the creator that has created all things. And so modesty is not something that I would argue as being natural. I think modesty is taught. I think modesty is a product of society because people are jealous and they're envious and they hate seeing other people do what they perceive to be better than them, whether or not that's the actual case or not. And so society teaches modesty. But you are the creator of all things. It's inherently difficult to be modest. How are you modest when you created everything? What the fuck is there to be modest about? Not a whole lot. You created every fucking thing. So it is natural for your expression to be big. So if you feel like you're supposed to be doing big things, and I know that you do, because you wouldn't be attracted to me, my voice, or anything that I have here to do on the internet if you weren't, then that is where you're supposed to be going. That is where your greatest expression is supposed to be. It's supposed to be big, right? And so you're like, well, how do I live like my greatest expression? Like, how do I do that, right? You do that by saying yes. You do that by following nudges. You do that by following urges and then not asking questions about it, right? Because it's going to be sorted out on the back and the universe is going to take care of it. Why? Because you are the universe and the universe has created all things. You have created all things. This means that all of the logistics or whatever that may need to take place in the back end, you've already dealt with it because you are the universe and you have created all things. It's not something that you need to deal with right now, right? When you're in your greatest expression, you are in the process of creating what you feel like is the dream for you. The greatest expression most likely isn't really bogged down with shit like paperwork. So for example, let's say you want to start a business and you're like, I don't know how to do the paperwork for an LLC, which a lot of people don't, right? You realize you don't have to do the paperwork for an LLC. You can just get somebody to do it for you, right? There's help literally everywhere. There are resources literally everywhere. You just have to learn to see it. You have to learn how to identify it. You have to see things that most people will not see.